Hello, beautiful souls. So I am so excited tonight to teach you how to do a shamanic journey. So just take a moment, place your hands on your heart, take a nice deep breath, and I'm just going to drum us all here. So take a minute, take a breath, relax, and know that you're in the right place to find a spirit guide. So breathe deeply. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your sit bones as you relax and connect with Mother Earth. So this drum beat that you're hearing right now is a drum beat that drops your brain into a theta state. So first of all, what is a shamanic journey? Well, a journey is exactly what deep meditators do. That takes them sometimes years to get to. So what's going to happen in this short amount of time that we have together is that you've come and you're going to allow yourself to drop into a theta state, a theta brain state. And in that state, which is induced in shamanic journeys with a constant rhythmic drum beat, what happens is that your brain drops into what meditators take years to be able to accomplish. And we, because time is sped up, it used to be that my students and my clients took anywhere from 7 to 12 minutes to drop into this state. Well, now, because of the way that things are in the world and how things have sped up, now we're able to get there in just a very few minutes. So that's a shamanic journey, very simply put. Shamanic journeys are intentional. You ask for, my favorite thing to ask is show me what I need to know about and then fill in the blank. Tonight in our journey together, you're going to ask for a spirit guide. So you're going to see, vision, experience this guide 3 times. You may see an eye, you may see a claw, you may see a wing, you might see a foot. Spirit guides come in all forms. They come in rocks, they come in, I've got a couple of symbols of spirit guides right here. I have Ganesha with me tonight. So these guides come to assist you with things. So tonight you're going to ask for a spirit guide to learn the journey process. And what will happen with that is you will get a guide, and if something comes that you don't appreciate, you get to say no thank you, and then you get to ask for another guide. So you get full permission, you get to be authentic here. And the beautiful part about your guides is that they have been with you for years. You may not know about them, you may have never seen them before because you haven't had access in this particular way to get connected. So before I go any further, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Shaman Weaver Sheila Baker. I have been on the spiritual path since I was 5 years old and had a near-death experience. So at that point, I started seeing things and hearing things and sensing things that other people didn't see, feel, sense, smell, or taste. And so I've had a lot of experience being in the other world. I've had a lot of experience being in what's called non-ordinary reality. So in non-ordinary reality, what happens is that we have access to guides, to things that don't work the same way in physics. So back to me. So I knew that I had gifts. I wasn't sure quite what they were, but I knew that I was different. And so I became a nurse because I knew that I have that healing capacity. I have the ability to understand deeply what's going on in your body, in your spirit, in your mind, and in your psyche. So I became a nurse. And then I became a weight loss counselor. And so I understood the physiology of going through that. I became a dance movement therapist because I understand that the body holds memories. And when we authentically move, those memories will come up to get resolved and dissolved. And so I became on this path of understanding about how does the mind work and how does the brain work and why does it function in this way. Studying astrology, I came across shamanism and learned how to journey. I found that for myself and also for my clients at the time, I was a children and family therapist, I found that my shamanic techniques worked better for them than just talking about it. And so I went on my first vision quest. 3 weeks later, I was out of my psychotherapy job because I felt like I could serve people in a better way if I used my shamanic tools. So over the last 2.5+ decades, I've cultivated this way of showing people how to journey, to ask important questions in their life, to get the information, to understand the information, and then most importantly, to use the information. You know, one of my mentors said, information without implementation is mind frick. So with what I teach in my courses and in my membership program, I'll tell you about that in a bit, what I teach there is the way for you to be able to ask important questions, to get the information from beings who have your highest and best or better in mind, with no agenda other than being there for you. So when you have this relationship with spirit guides, you can get information anytime, day or night. You know, they don't go off the clock. You don't have to wait for your person to get there. You don't have to wait until it's a decent hour to talk to somebody. You can talk to them anytime, day or night, anywhere, for any reason. And because of this, I believe in what I've noticed in myself and in my practice with my clients and my students is that they get information that wouldn't occur to me. You know, they get information that a two-legged might not have, but a winged one can see the perspective in a completely different way. So this is actually the beauty of shamanic journeys. The magic of shamanic journeys is that they are incredibly therapeutic, they're incredibly healing, and that you can ask your guide about anything. Now the thing, so if you've got a beverage, let's have a sip. The thing about your guides is that they already know you. So you don't have to sit there and tell them about your marriages or your accomplishments or your dog or your cat or your chicken. They already know all of that. And they have no judgment over you, none whatsoever. They want your highest and best or better, and they understand that you are on a soul path. And when you're on a soul path, everything becomes a lesson, no matter how amazingly catastrophic it is or trivial at the time. We are here to learn soul lessons, to evolve. That's why I call my Facebook group Enlightened Spiritual Warriors. In your life, you must be a warrior. When you do it from a place of enlightenment and spirituality, then you're doing it for humankind, not just only for yourself. So this is the beauty of it. So having gone through life experiences, studying astrology, coming out and hypnotherapy and play therapy and all kinds of other ways in order for us to heal, what I found most significant about the journeys was the amount of healing that I could do because my guides gifted me with information. Now, sometimes that information comes in ways that are not readily understood. So I developed a particular way of understanding those journeys so that you understand that you are the visionary of your life. You know, if you look around wherever you are, you or someone that you gave permission to put things there. And you might change them and rearrange them, but you are the visionary of your life. When you understand that and you really own it, and you know that, you know, my soul is on this path, and I'll tell you one thing that I learned from Gary Zukav is that bliss and happiness is when the soul, when the personality comes to serve the soul. The soul's learning lessons when your personality comes and it gets behind that and says, okay, everything is a lesson. I'm going to learn from this no matter what it is, no matter how traumatizing I feel like it is in the moment. There's always a lesson. And not only that, there's always a healing. So in the journey, you're the visionary. You're the one that set time aside for yourself to do this. The enlightened spiritual warrior is you in the journey, either waiting and sitting or standing or however it is that you're in the journey. And I'll talk to you about that when we go to the journey in a few minutes. So you get to witness yourself doing things that physics on this plane say is impossible. You can fly. You can go out to Saturn. You can go over a waterfall and down into the water and land graciously. Now that doesn't happen on this plane, but in non-ordinary reality, anything is possible. And then you also get a lesson. You also get a healing. And then the trick is to be the magician, to use the air, the earth, the fire, the water, the information to make a change in your life. Shamanic journeys change lives, and they change lives without, without a lot of effort. The effort is actually very joyous. And when you come to understand that, then what happens is that because first of all, it's all about you. It's all about your healing. It's all about your growth. It's all about your evolution. What you're going to find is that they become more and more interesting. And someone who recently did my Craft Your Dream Life with the Magic of Shamanic Journeys said that. You know, I find them so fascinating. And so I want to do more of them. I want to understand what's the lesson in here. How do I bring it forward? And how do I use that information? So, before we get started, I want to tell you some mistakes that people make so that you are not doing that in the journey that we're going to do together. First of all, if you are not, when we're asking for a spirit guide, and you can ask for a spirit guide for anything. Let's say you're going through some bumps in your relationship, ask for a relationship guide. If you're seeking to purchase a car, ask for a car buying guide. If you're looking for a home, ask for a guide to help you with that. You have an abundance of helpers who are waiting for you to ask. And you know what? You got to ask. They don't just be nosy and knock on your door and say, do you need anything? So the mistakes that people make is that they start to listen to the reptilian brain. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to take care of that. And the way that we do this, I call it a reptilian brain massage, because that reptilian brain wants to keep you safe. It wants you not to be going anywhere that it feels like it's out of your comfort zone. And our comfort zone gets smaller and smaller and smaller if we let it. However, when you know how to tell that reptilian brain part that it's okay, I've got this handled, I know what I'm doing, what happens is you have the graciousness of being able only to say thank you. And you might, in your journey, because your reptilian brain might just be very active, it might say, oh, you can't get in that canoe, it's all tippy, and how do you know those people are going to be okay, and how do you know what's going to happen, and did you pack a lunch? So we're going to take care of that right away. So here's how we do it. And you can go to my YouTube channel and you can get the reptilian brain massage and you can do this. I believe also that it's in the Enlightened Spiritual Warriors, and you can look for reptilian brain massage. In the meanwhile, we're going to take care of it right away, quick, smart, and easy. All right, rub your hands together. All right, and then just open your arms wide and then bend your elbows. Notice how it lands right in that spot back there. That's a divot. So we're just going to massage in one direction. And then in the other direction. And then we're just going to pull that energy down here off our shoulders. And then quick, smart, put your fingers together. Okay? Now, we've got a bunch of tension and energy in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to rub our fingertips together. And we're going to ball this into white light. And then we're going to lift our fingers up. And we're going to blow the white light back to source. Like that. Wipe your hands. Okay, now roll your shoulders around and down and the other way. The thing about shamanism is it's very participatory. It involves your body, your mind, and your spirit. So, in your journey, when something happens and you hear this little voice or you get this sensation, oh, that couldn't happen, that's not real, then what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just say thank you. There's nothing more disarming to someone who's telling you how something ought to be than saying thank you. Just a simple thank you. You might say it 40 times, you might say it 400 times, but because we are used to being in the physical world, in the alpha state, what happens is when we drop down into these other states, our body isn't used to that. It's not used to being calm. It's not used to being relaxed. It's not used to that. So you have to train yourself. This is training your brain. So the next thing is not setting a clear intention. So we have the reptilian brain saying that's not possible. We have confusion when we don't set a clear intention. And this is why, even though I've been journeying for 35, 40 years now, I still say, show me what I need to know about. So today, what you're going to say is, show me my spirit guide. Simple, easy, and always use that, because if you ask a yes or a no, first of all, there's so many parameters around it that you're not going to necessarily get the answer you need. But if you ask to be shown, show me what I need to know about this. Let's say you're looking for a job. Show me what I need to know about working for XYZ. Company, person, whatever. You're going to get information about that. Not, that's a bad idea, but you're going to learn something. And then the beautiful part about journeying is that you begin to trust your own intuition. You know, often people can trust you before they trust themselves, right? Well, the same principle holds true here. So we're going to learn to trust our guides, because once you get a guide, then the fun begins. You get to journey with them. You get to ask them, where do you live? What do you do? What do you eat? Are you married? And all of those things that you would ask of a new friend. What do you like to do? And then you become to have a very personal, deep relationship. The other piece is that guides come and go. The guides that I needed when I first started teaching this are not the guides that I need right now. So once my quest is done, find my car, find my apartment, find whatever it is I'm looking for, then that guide can go on to help others. In the meanwhile, you get to have a very deep and personal relationship. So let's see. Okay, so reptilian brain getting in the way, not saying thank you, and not setting an intention. So tonight we have that covered, because your intention is going to be learning how to do a shamanic journey and ask for a spirit guide. And we get to do this in an amazingly short amount of time. And I created an MP3. It's called Sacred Drumming. And I call in the directions, and I'll do that in a minute. I take you through the steps that I'm going to take you through tonight, and then there's 23 minutes of drumming there. We're going to do a much shorter journey tonight, but just know that there is that resource for you. And then coming out of the journey, a really important thing to do is to write your journey down, pen and paper. And the reason that that's important is because every cell of your body remembers the experience. And when you write it down and you engage your vision, and maybe there was a smell, maybe you engage the smell, maybe you get a cup of tea and smell the tea while you're writing your journey. What it does is it allows every cell of your body to get engaged, to know that this really did happen and that it's an experience. And then not only that, you're going to come out of this experience with something to do. All right. So the way that I like to journey is I like to lay down. I also like an eye covering, so I block out as much of the physical world as I possibly can. I get a blanket because sometimes when you're journeying, you will get chilly. And I prefer to be completely comfortable so that I can immerse myself in my amazing inner landscape. And you're going to find that if we were to sit in circle together, like I do in my membership program, then we would share our journeys, and you would see synchronicities, and you would see likenesses, and you would get other people's lessons and other people's healings, because that's what happens when we come together, is that we get to help each other learn, grow, heal, have fun, be playful and more joyous, and find more love and bliss in the world. So, wait a second, I have some notes. Let me have a look here. Okay, yes. Okay, all right. So what I invite you to do now is, if you can, and you're somewhere close to somewhere where you can sit or lie, not where you can sit. I like to lie down, where you can lie down so you can have that experience. If you have something you can put across your eyes, it can be a washcloth, it can be a sock for this evening, but I really invite you to invest in an eye covering for yourself. Have pen and paper close at hand, because once we're complete with the journey, it's going to be 10-ish minutes, 15 maybe. And when you're complete with that, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to go ahead and write your journey. Then we're going to come back together again, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can understand what happened in your journey. So take a moment, get things that you need, have a sip, and then I will take you on a journey. So any sounds that you hear other than the sound of my voice, merely label it thinking, 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 hearing, hearing, hearing. Because as soon as you hear something, you're going to start thinking. So just go ahead and label it and let it go. Remember the thank yous. And so we're going to use our imagination. Your imagination is gateway to the soul. That was the very first book that I wrote, was Gateway to the Soul. Your imagination is what allows you to drop into a place where it's unknown. It might be a little bit uncertain, and yet I'm going to find protection for you. So first of all, imagine placing yourself in a spirit canoe. And that's a birch bark canoe. So see that birch bark canoe? Notice how it is that you're in that canoe. And now, on your right-hand side, invite your male ancestors, however they show up, two-legged, four-legged, creepy crawlers, swimmers, the winged ones, the standing people, the trees, and the rock nation, or any creation of the above. And see yourself immersed in a golden bubble of light, feeling safe and warm and comfortable. The male ancestors on the right, the female ancestors on the left. So just notice who shows up. Be animate, inanimate, trees, mountains, rocks, people, birds, animals. Just notice who shows up. Now, in front of you, you're going to leave the bow open because you're going to ask for a spirit guide tonight. Some of you may already have guides and you may feel drawn to put that guide in the bow, and that's perfectly good as well. If you haven't got a spirit guide, if this is your first journey, your bow is going to be empty. And behind you, you're going to set your protection, whatever that is for you. Your intention is show me my spirit guide. When the drum beat softens, return to exactly the same space that you started at. And so it begins. Find a way to bring your journey to an end and take a few minutes and take a few notes. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to write your journey down, and then I'll tell you the next part. Take just another moment, and if you find that this isn't enough time, I want you to just jot down a few phrases that will help you remember what happened in the journey, and then you can come back to it again. So just put your hands on your heart, make sure that you're fully back and present. Roll your shoulders around and down, wiggle a wee bit in your seat, and be fully present right here, right now. So in the writing of the journey, the important piece is that you're concretizing it, because some of the things that happen, going over waterfalls, having your canoe suspended in the air, whatever it was that happened, are not things that can actually happen here in ordinary reality. So what will happen is that your left brain will say, oh no, that couldn't have happened, so you'll skim over it. But when you go back and look at your journeys again, when you are the visionary and you're looking at what was my vision in there, then you're going to end up embellishing it. You're going to remember things that you didn't notice. I know that in my first journey, I saw a cliff and a root hanging out of the cliff. And then I went back and I read the journey again. And when I got to that piece, I went, oh, but there was a little white flower sticking out next to the root that I had glossed over. Then I did a little of looking and found out what the flower was, what meaning it had, and why it was there for me. So as you're doing that, as you're writing your journey out, you're going to notice that you recall more things. And that's the beautiful part about going back and revisiting and revisioning. In your journey, you are the enlightened spiritual warrior. So sometimes, if you read my book, Journeys of Transformation, there's 13 journeys in there. And there were 2 or 3 of them where I was just waiting. You know, I wasn't always patiently waiting, but I was waiting. So sometimes in your journey, you're just going to be sitting. There isn't going to necessarily be something for you to do. Your ancestors, the males and the females, you know, from the very first time that I did a journey, my male ancestor was a bear. I didn't even think to question that. I was just like, oh, all right, my male ancestor is a bear. My female ancestor showed up as a Native American elder grandmother. And so it didn't occur to me to question that, but every time after that, what I did was I put them there. I said invite, but it wasn't like an invitation that was open for them to deny. So my bear showed up, my female ancestor showed up, and then from that time, the first time I got my first spirit guide, that guide went in the bow of the canoe. And I put protection behind me. You're going out on a journey. You wouldn't go on an unfamiliar hike without a guide. And you wouldn't go a Sherpa. You also wouldn't go without someone being at the back to have your back in case you dropped something, in case you needed something. So the setup here is so that you feel comfortable, so that your ancestors, you know, many have walked this way before, they're there with you. You have your guide in the bow, and behind you, you have your protection. And you witness yourself as the enlightened spiritual warrior. What did you do? Did you get out of the canoe? Did you stay in the canoe? Did you start a bonfire? Did you fish? You know, did you row? What did you see and notice? And notice about yourself. What is it you're doing? No, it took years. I maybe have never paddled my canoe, that's just how my journeys are. Yours might be completely different because each person has a different canoe, a different journey, a different starting spot, and you return to that starting spot. So you get to witness yourself. How beautiful is that? So often in life we're going, and we don't stop to sort of go, wait, take a breath. Let me look at myself. What am I doing here? And then in your journey, there will be a lesson. And you might have to talk to somebody else about it. This is the beautiful part about being in a membership program, is you get to share your journeys. So, and in sharing your journeys, other people who don't even know you might just say, well, you know, I heard this lesson there. And I heard this healing there. Because when you learn something, you have the ability to heal something. So there is the visionary, you as the one who set the time aside to journey, the enlightened spiritual warrior, that's you in the journey, doing or not doing, starting a fire, not starting a fire, walking up a path, staying in the canoe. Watch yourself. And then what is there for you to learn out of this lesson? And then what is the healing? Oftentimes those two are very intertwined. And when you get a spirit guide and you start to suss out, what's this spirit guide all about? And you look, you go and you do some research, you know, do your diligence. There's a wonderful book by Ted Andrews. It's called Animal Speak. And in it, he has laid out a lot of the attributes of animals. So whoever showed up for you, whatever, if it was a tree, find out what kind of a tree it was. If it's a stone, what kind of a stone was it? If it's a person, what kind of a person was it? If it is a, no matter what it is, find out about it. Do a little research about it for yourself. And then, having got the lesson and understanding what the healing is, because oftentimes a guide brings that healing, then what you have the opportunity to do is what I call the magician. What are you going to do about it in the practical world? And if your journey showed you taking a walk with a walking stick, find yourself a walking stick. Go on a walk. If it showed you at a carnival, find a carnival. If it showed you at a powwow, find a powwow to go to. It doesn't have to be immediate gratification, but do incorporate what you learn and what you heal in the journey into your everyday life. This is the beautiful part for me about the way that I teach, is that the journeys aren't just for special occasions. They're for helping me every single solitary day. How can I be a better person? How can my life be more fulfilling? How can I share more love? How can I be more blissful? What is my purpose? What is my passion? Where's my prosperity? And who am I here to serve? These are the beautiful questions that Shamanic Journeys answer for you. So when you journey, then, and you write your journeys out afterwards, go back and look at them, because these are gifts from the divine to you, very personal, very intimate, very much to guide you on your path in life. And you can continue to journey with me. I have a membership program that you can join. We meet on the second Saturday of every month, and what we do is we gather together. We have a little talking stick first. We sit in circle, and then we journey together. One of the beautiful things about not journeying solo is that you get to share these journeys with other people. Other people get a perspective that you don't have. You've gone, you've taken a matter to spirit, and you're bringing spirit back into matter. And the beautiful part is you get to share this with other people. So I have a Facebook group. And I put the link in, and you can join that group. There is a special group on Facebook, but we also meet on Zoom once a month together to journey, because it seems to me that it's a fabulous way to heal old wounds, to find your passion, and to share your joy. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for taking a step on your spiritual path. And thank you for indulging yourself in this time for you, so that you realize how important you are. You're the visionary of your life. The gifts that you have to give, because you will learn exactly what your gifts are. Spirit will bring those to you. And so as you do that, as you learn this, you can have more abundance of everything in your life, of joy, of pleasure, of dancing, of eating, of feasting, of being in community. So I appreciate you for doing this with me. Thank you very much. And just let's take a moment in that golden bubble that we were in. If it feels right to you, you can let it go. If it feels like you're wanting to stay in it, you can stay in it. That part's up to you. And just remember that you're a sacred child of the universe. And in case no one has told you so far today, you are amazing. So thank you for being here. My pleasure to see you. And we'll talk again soon, I hope. Bye-bye, everyone.